Ever thought what it would be like to immerse yourself in a sound bath? Well, I've got you covered. Join me as I invite a special guest to dive into the unique experience of a sound bath and spill all the details on the Afterbath podcast. Welcome to the Afterbath, where we explore unique experiences and wellness practices. I'm your host, Matt. Today we have a special episode where we'll be diving into the world of sound baths. If you've ever wondered what it's like to immerse yourself in soothing sound, well, you're in for a treat. Episode 2 continues Shell's journey as she experiences her second of 6 consecutive sound baths in 6 weeks. In this episode, Shell shares her evolving thoughts on wellness practices and provides a detailed account of her experiences both before and after her second sound bath. Let's see how this next step impacts her journey and what new insights she gains along the way. Hey Shell, so we are back for your second sound bath, and this is pre-second sound bath. How did you feel this week? Did you have any epiphanies or any changes since the first sound bath?
Good question, Matt. The answer is yes.
Great. What were those?
In general, I felt more relaxed. I felt much more ease, not so much in my body, but definitely in my thinking. One thing stood out to me, and that was new thoughts. So I just need to explain that more to you. I'm trying to make breakthroughs in my life. I'm trying to improve myself and do things differently, but I have a certain way of thinking that goes around in its own way all the time without any new thoughts coming in. And you need new thoughts to do new things, right? But I don't have the new thoughts. So if I liken my mind to a library with lots of information, so let's say I had a library, if I was fortunate enough to have a library in my house, and I'm convinced that the knowledge is in one of these books in the library that I already own, and I'm a great researcher and I've gone through most of these books and I'm looking for a revelation, I'm looking for a new idea, I'm looking for the new way of doing things. I'm sure that if I just keep going around in this same room with all this information in it, there's just got to be something.
Yes.
Nothing.
Okay.
But this week after the sound bath, and I am kind of attributing it to the sound bath.
Yes.
I don't know if it was, but I'd like to think it was.
Okay, that's good.
It was as if someone opened the window at the top of the room and let in a gentle breeze with information on it.
Yeah.
And it was new information. It was the sorts of thoughts that were not usually in my mind room. Yeah. And it just felt like liberation.
Great. Yeah, great.
So it felt like a breakthrough, but in a very gentle way.
Yes. Yep. Yep. That's good. Gentle is good. Yeah. I found that in my own journey that to have breakthroughs, better for them to be gentle.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Because if it's too dramatic, you have a tendency to lose. You become a little ungrounded.
You lose your footing.
Yeah.
You can lose your confidence as well.
Yes.
And your ego would take a battering as well, I imagine.
Yeah. You can end up losing yourself. So think of it a little bit like if you, say, took something, say a chemical that changed your consciousness and you literally forgot who you were, then everything about you would change. So I'll give you an example. So if you were to have electric shock treatment, it's very full on. But if you were to have that, then your memory would be completely dissolved. Yep. And then, so you wouldn't remember who you are. You wouldn't remember anything. Like nothing. And then slowly over time, memories come back. Right? But if you completely forgot who you were, then everything would fly out the window. Yeah? All your desires, all your sense of responsibility, all your sense of who you are would be dissolved. And that could be fine for a small amount of time, but to have that go on and on and on, the simple things that would happen is that you'd find it very hard to do the very basic things. You know, feed yourself, wash yourself, remember to go to bed at a certain time. Yeah? And that could be okay for a small amount of time, but for it to be ongoing gets very difficult. Because, you know, most of the world don't behave like that. Most of the world have a routine and they have expectations. And if you're living with someone and you're not doing what is normally in their routine, a part of their routine, they may become frustrated. So, yeah. So I think letting go of these things in a gentle way, in a slow, gentle way, is a lot healthier.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the electricity though.
Yes.
The bowls did seem to generate a current of some description. Is it electrical?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's all vibration, right? So it's
Is
going to be...
a way of quantifying it, do we have machinery, for example, that can tell us what it is and what hertz it is, what frequency it is? Do you have stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely you can measure the frequency.
Really?
Yes,
Ooh,
absolutely.
Can we do that?
Yes. Well, we can very easily do that by just using even just a piano and measuring the pitch against that.
Really?
Yeah, we can also do that on a telephone with just a simple tuner. So music tuner.
Okay, but that's pitch.
That's pitch. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Would it tell us the frequency?
Yeah, definitely tell us the frequency.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yes, we can absolutely do that.
Well, that would be really interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, did you have any other questions or any other...
I'm sure I'm going to have lots of questions once we've done the sound bath, but not for now, yeah.
Okay.
Just ready to go.
Great. Would you like to go and have a sound bath?
Yay,
Okay.
yeah, please.
Let's go do it.
Okay.
Okay. Here's a glimpse of the typical setup I use during a sound bath. The participant lies comfortably among 7 Tibetan singing bowls. On the left side are bowls linked to the throat and third eye chakras, while on the right are larger bowls associated with the root, sacral and solar plexus chakras. A small bowl near the head corresponds to the crown chakra, and the heart chakra bowl is placed between the ankles. Above the participant's head is a gong with tuning forks and a wind chime, also used at the beginning and end of the session. For added comfort, a participant lies on 3 yoga mats and a sleeping bag covered with a heavy blanket to stay warm. Okay, so Shell, this is after your second sound bath. I know you're looking really blissed out.
Don't make me talk.
So now that you've had the second one, what's different?
Oh, so mean to make me talk. I have to switch my brain on. It's like trying to... It's a almost mechanical process.
Yeah.
To get the body to function again when I'm up here just floating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So mean to make me talk.
This may be a very short-lived podcast.
Just watch the clients just bliss out and unable to speak. What's different? I'm not sure how to answer that question, but I can express that there's a very, very deep feeling of relaxation. It feels that it's penetrated much more than the last session.
Yeah.
Again, the breathing, much deeper.
Yeah.
Certainly more relaxed coming into this session, knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
Less trepidatious, more excited.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that anything is significantly different. I think this might be a delayed response thing. In a couple of days, I might be able to tell you that I've perceived a difference. Just right now, session 2 compared to session 1, much deeper level of relaxation, calibration, centeredness, less ability to speak. Can I ask a question?
Go for it, yes.
So I'm interested to know, I have my eyes shut for most of the time.
Yes.
But every once in a while I check out what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I noticed how you're taking a walk around the room, around the bowls, around...
Yeah.
Is there a method to your madness, so to speak? Is there a sequence that you're following? Is there a reason why you're vibrating different bowls at different times? Is it clockwise, anti-clockwise? And over to you.
Yeah.
What's going on? What were you doing?
Yeah, so there's a definite sequence. And think of the sequence like a song,
Yeah.
So a song is just built up of patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a way to think of it is that we're building up certain notes on the bowls that interact in a way that calms down your thought. Yeah. So you might think of it a little bit like if you're going to listen to repetitive music, like repetitive dance music, you get into a trance-like state, and so your thinking becomes trained. Yeah. So it's following a pattern. So you may begin to recognize, I can hear a pattern. It's, top, bottom, right, left. Top, bottom, right, left. And then you get used to that, and then you're expecting it, and then I change it a little bit. Yeah? And so then you're like, hang on, something's changed. And then we start the sequence again, top, bottom, right, left, top, bottom, right, left. And then after a little bit of that, you're getting used to that, and then we change it again. So each time we're introducing a change, you're letting go. Yeah? Because that's what we naturally do. We go, okay, I know what's going on. I can predict. And then, I don't know what's going on. And so you let go. Yeah? And so each time you let go, you're going deeper. Yeah, going deeper. And then it starts again. Yeah, top, bottom, right, left, top, bottom, right, left. But as that next sequence comes in, because you've let go, you're going deeper again.
When you say top, bottom, you mean top of the head, toes, left, right.
Correct.
Literally with the bowls.
Yes, absolutely. And these bowls are always put in the same position, and they have to do with certain energy centers of the body. And think of it just like this. When you listen to low sounds, you'll feel it more around your belly. Yeah? And when you hear a high sound, you'll feel it more around your head. Yeah,
I definitely did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then think of it a little bit like if you've got a sore tummy, what do you naturally do? You rub your tummy. Yeah? And then when you've got a sore head, what do? You rub your head. Yeah? So you could kind of think of it a little bit like, I'm a little bit sore, so I'm rubbing my head, then my toes, then my right side and my left side. Yeah?
When you change from this sequence
Yeah.
dramatically by using a different instrument,
Yeah.
particularly the tuning forks, which are a real departure from the vibration of the bowls.
Yep.
They're so high pitch in a pretty way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that to enforce that change? That's not a good word to use, but to break that pattern that you talked about, that entrainment, to make a change happen? Is that what it's designed to do?
Yeah, yeah.
And why? Why do you want a change? And what is it that's changing in me when you do that?
Yeah. You might think if you're having a meal and you're eating a lot of potatoes, right? It's going to get really heavy after a while. And then you might need something light to counterbalance that.
Is it kind of like a cleansing of the palate when you go from one food to another and you need something that there are palate cleansing types of liquids and yeah. So the tuning forks could be sort of that way.
Yeah, and then another way to kind of think of it, it's a bit like, not that I've ever had smelling salts, but if you get really drowsy, smell the smelling salts instantly. Oh, okay, I'm back.
Yeah, I might need some of those now.
Yeah.
I'm still in the entrainment.
Yeah. Another way to think of the tuning forks is if we imagine that the big bowls are like big brooms getting rid of muck. Yeah. It's just a metaphor. You don't have to literally think of it like that. But if you're cleaning up something, you would use a big broom. So the bowls you can imagine a bit like a big broom.
What about the gong?
Yeah, the gong. Well, that's a massive broom.
Yeah,
that's a vacuum.
I can feel it.
Yeah,
that's a wave of energy, but you control it really well.
Great, excellent. Yeah, you definitely want to control those big ones.
So glad that you do.
Yeah, because they can really blow you away.
Yeah. It was interesting while you were using the gong. I did think about sound waves and about sonic boom and about how sonic boom can blow people's ears out. It can do damage. It is a force of energy that has physical force that can do damage. So glad you control that gong.
Yes, yeah. And all the sound healing tools we're using, none of them are strong enough to do damage. It's not like where you would get your kidney stones removed with lithotripsy, which you understand about that, directing sound at a kidney stone to break it up.
I didn't know that was a thing, but I know now.
Yeah. So we do that, and if you look at an opera singer who can smash a glass by singing a note, so you just need to find the resonance of the glass and then sing it loud enough until it lets go, and then it will crack.
Until it lets go.
Yeah.
Lets go of what?
Well, it's holding its structure together.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. So I'm holding my structure together.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you think...
But sorry to interrupt
Yeah, no,
you.
go.
You talked about going through a process, a pattern that entrains me, and then you change that sequence to break that pattern.
Yeah.
Is there something then I'm letting go of before the next sequence starts, like the glass that lets go of its structure?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
I had I thought it was an interesting thought. For the first one, I have some habits, and I think they're good habits because I love improvement, which is why I'm here. I love improvement. So I've had lots of meditative or prayer practices or affirmation practices based on the belief from people who know better than me that your thoughts can change your life.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So good thoughts can change everything.
Absolutely.
What you think changes what you do, what you eat, who you're with, what work you do, who you hang around, your environment, so on and so forth. Theoretically, yeah?
Yes, yeah.
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 So, in my experience, it does work, but there are points at which I get stuck.
Yes.
And this methodology, it finds a natural barrier. And then my thoughts, no matter how regular my practice is, it's kind of just not going anywhere. It's not... So the thought was, in terms of the sound bathing, what if the inverse is possible? If your thoughts can change your vibration,
yes.
What if that stops working and the vibration changes your thoughts?
Yes. Yep.
So in this practice of sound bathing, I'm no longer thinking. At some point, the thoughts just go, I'm too relaxed here, I'm not going to bother.
Yes.
So I get into almost sleep state, and I'm not really thinking anymore. But the vibration, based on what you're telling me about this changing of sequences, is changing my vibration. So theoretically, would that assist me in changing the vibration? Would that assist me in changing my thoughts to improved thoughts?
Yes. Yeah. So
you're 100% sure about this?
Well, yeah, you want to know how that works.
Tell me how this works, Matt. I want to know how it works.
Okay. So everything about you or who you think you are is just habit. Yep. You're just a big mound of habit. Yep.
Some of them are good habits, I might add.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll get to that. Okay. So, habit, you don't need to worry about whether it's a good habit or a bad habit. What you want to do is you want to become aware that you have habits. Yep. If you are not aware that you have habits, then you will think that everything is always constantly, your reaction to things is always new. But it's not. It's just built on habits. Yep. So when you come in and say you look at a piece of fruit that you don't like, it's not the fruit's fault that you don't like it. It's just the habit that you've built into looking at that piece of fruit and going, yeah, I don't like this fruit. So, but that can be 100% changed. Yeah, you can change yourself out of that habit. Yeah. And the simple way of looking at a piece of fruit that you don't like is you say, well, in the past, every time I've tried this variety of fruit, I haven't enjoyed it, but I haven't tried this one. And this one may be different. And also there's a whole lot of different ways you could have the fruit. You could eat it raw. You could eat it cooked. You could puree it. Yeah, you could put it in something, you could disguise it. There are so many different ways that you could have it. Eventually you could 100% find a way to disguise the fruit so much that you would be, oh yeah, this is totally fine. And then you just work your way backwards from that, and then you get used to the next level. Yeah? And so then eventually you can change the habit to, I actually do like this fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe once upon a time I didn't like the fruit, but now I actually do like the fruit.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Are we liking the fruit or are we liking the thought?
yeah, it's definitely all the thought. It's all the thought.
Do we kind of get addicted to a thought pattern that tells us, I don't like this fruit, even though we may not have evidence anymore that we don't like it.
Yeah.
But we're addicted is maybe too strong a word, but definitely in a loop of thinking.
Yeah, what you're addicted to is actually the enjoyment of being right.
Ego.
Yeah, just ego. Yeah, we love being right.
Yeah.
In fact, we'll destroy ourselves and other people just to be right, and that's what we do. Now, if you're not aware of that, which is the whole purpose of doing sound baths and these types of practices, is that you actually want to become aware of your habits.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're aware of your habits, you then have choice to change. If you're not aware of habits, you're stuck.
You're stuck, and that makes me think about free will.
Yeah, there's no free will.
Do we have free... Well, we don't have free will if we don't have awareness that we're stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Okay, so the sound bath, the frequencies that you build up are helping to step me out of certain patterns, whatever patterns they are, thinking patterns, or...
Correct.
I don't know, maybe this works on the body as well?
Yes.
Yeah, it works on the body.
Well,
it works on the body as well.
Well, see, the mind is attached to the body.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, you can't, change one without the other one,
Yeah.
feeling the repercussions.
Yeah. So
a way to think of it is that you were born and you've been building these habits ever since you were a baby. And we would like to think that we now have adult habits, but you still need to remember that they're built on baby habits.
Programming.
Yeah. Yeah. So if something happened to you when you were really little, you may hang on to that because you think, if that happens again, I'll be very unhappy. Yeah. But you need to remember that that thing that happened to you when you were in a very vulnerable state. And now that you're an adult, you're not as vulnerable.
It's circumstance specific. So without those same environment, the outcome could be different. But if we're stuck in it, the habit, got it.
We'll keep playing out.
Yeah. But going back to the physical stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So I am already experiencing after 1 week that new thoughts are able to... There's a novelty of my thoughts, which feels like a breakthrough.
Yes.
Yeah? So I kind of expected that. That didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But you're talking also about these habits and patterns that take place in the body.
Yeah.
Would sound bathing theoretically help with digestion? Would it help with dietary habits? Would it help with other bodily functions? If I had a heart condition, for example, I know we're straying way out into medical stuff here, and there's no machinery here to test any of this.
Yeah.
Would it entrain my digestive system or my heart in a different way?
Yeah. Okay, so...
You sound very sure of that.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, a way to think of it is that digestion has to do with your eating habits, right? So if you're in a state of fear, you'll naturally do one of two things. You'll either overeat to build up protection. Yeah, the bigger you are, the less that can hurt you. It's a pretty obvious way to think of it. Or you will undereat because you won't feel hungry. Yeah, you'll feel so nervous that you can't keep anything down. So you'll simply become unbalanced in your eating habits. If you become unbalanced in your eating habits, then of course you're going to have digestion issues. Yep. So what we're looking to do is to decrease your perception of fear. Well, no. So decrease the fear, increase your awareness that you have habits about fear.
Oh,
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
that could be almost imperceptible, because if these fear, which is a mind thing, right, has stopped the thinking about being afraid of something, whether I'm afraid of that fruit because last time I ate it when I was a baby it was rotten and it tasted really terrible, mild sort of level fear.
Yeah.
If it's, I'm not expressing this very well, that fear could have just, that awareness of that fear must be so past, so buried.
Yes.
So buried that it just forms a physical manifestation. It must take quite a bit to become aware of something that's gone so deep for so long.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got another question now.
Go for it. Go for it. That's good.
Questions.
That's good.
How do you know? How does the client know? How will I know that I've become aware of the habit and the fear around a bad habit?
Yeah.
How will I know?
Yeah.
For example, I knew in the week that's just passed, because I described being in a library in my mind, having a lot of resources within there, having gathered a lot of information over a lifetime, being a good researcher, but still feeling stuck and still feeling that, there's got to be information in here somewhere. I'm an intelligent human being somewhere.
Yeah.
I can nut this one out.
Yeah.
But when I felt the window open and a breeze come in with a novel thought, I realised my habit of moving around this library researching it wasn't a negative habit, but it was a habit that's now stalled me from moving forward or moving beyond or having even a novel thought. And I had, I guess, a presence of mind to know that that was a shift. What other ways would I know that there's been a habit and that I've become aware of it, and what's beneath that habit?
Yeah.
What do other people say they perceive so that they can become aware of this shift?
Yeah. I would say...
That was not very well articulated, but I think you get the gist.
Yeah, I get the gist. Yeah. So if you look at fear, for example, what happens with fear is that a fearful thought will enter your mind. Let's say, I think there's something under the bed, for example. Yeah. Common fear, when you're a kid. I think there's something under the bed. And what happens is that thought will snowball. And so you will start fixating on the thought and you will start imagining more. And it's only when you actually begin to notice, I'm thinking too much, and you start to put some distance between yourself and the thought, that you begin to realize, oh no, hang on, this is a thought, this is my imagination, I'm in control of my imagination. Okay, so if I'm in control of it, I can simply just stop imagining it and imagine something else. Yeah. For some people, they may find that the thought keeps returning. But what you need to do at that stage is continue to look at it as, this is a thought. This is my imagination. Yeah.
I guess what I'm asking is, how do you get to that awareness point?
Yeah.
How does the sound bathing help us get to that awareness point?
Yes.
Where we're able to identify, oh, this is a thought, rather than it's me and I'm stuck in this.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. Separate myself. How does the sound bathing help me get to that awareness?
Yes. Yeah. So then think of the fearful thought being close to you. Yeah. So when you have a fearful thought, it doesn't even seem like you're having a thought. It just seems like there is something dangerous and you need to get out of there. Yep. But if nothing happens in the next minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever, you'll start to go, okay, I think there's something else at play here. And then you will begin to put some distance between you and the thought. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So when you're having a sound bath, thoughts may arise, but you will be so blissful that it's very easy to push the thought away.
That's true.
Yeah. And so there's that natural distance. Yeah.
Is it the sound or is it the vibration that's creating that distance?
Well, essentially, you're becoming more focused on the experience, and it's such a lovely experience, like you're having a bath, like a warm bath, and it's so pleasurable that the thought becomes uninteresting.
Got it. True.
Yeah.
Uninteresting. Yeah.
So it's like if you're wearing velvet and you're just feeling the velvet, you'd be like, oh, this is so beautiful. But my mind is quiet because I'm so focused on the physical body rather than the fearful thought. So what happens to probably a lot of people is that they, as an example, they may look at their bank account and immediately they might go, oh, I don't have enough money for groceries. Yeah. And then they'll start imagining, okay, so I won't be eating tonight. Yeah. But there may be a bit of time between now and dinner time, and within that time, other things could possibly happen. You could think of solutions for that. But at that initial stage of, bank account low, no food tonight, I'm going to go hungry, it's very distressing. And then you get very caught up in that, and then that can snowball. Yeah. So if you had a technique at that stage when that was happening, where you could divert your attention to something physical and then allow that initial fearful thought to just pass by a little bit, you may then have enough awareness to actually think of a better solution rather than focusing on the fact that, I'm a bit afraid that I'm not going to be eating tonight.
Distraction. You need a distraction. You need a circuit breaker.
Correct.
So going back to this sequence, my original question, were you doing a sequence? And you said you were. It was a pattern, and then you're breaking the pattern slightly to take me into another pattern.
Yes.
It's kind of the same thing. But with the vibrational pattern of of the bowls
Yep.
is to break that pattern just enough to
Yep.
gently move me into a different pattern and then into a different pattern with that distraction in between. Am I getting this
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Is that what was happening?
Yes. Well, that's a very yeah.
That was, okay.
Yeah.
I think I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
It's a really gentle process.
It's very gentle. Yeah. If you were, let's say, if you were to take a sedative, a very powerful sedative.
That is a sedative.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I'm still not here.
Yeah.
I'm still...
Yeah.
That is a sedative.
Yeah.
At times I wondered, is it just the fact that I'm having a nap, essentially, in the daytime, in a very, very comfortable environment, super cozy, super pretty? Is it just that? But it's not.
No.
I know it's not just that.
So I'll explain that, because that's a really good question. When you take a nap or you take, say you go to sleep and you start dreaming, your dreaming is just regurgitating your daily experience. So let's say you're having, say you go into the city and say the traffic you find very irritating. You might find by the time you get home, you'll have a headache because there's been too much stimulation. Or you may feel, agitated, right? When you go to sleep, the agitation is still there. The headache is still there. Sure, you might be relaxing a bit deeper, but your mind still has to process that agitation. And so it will be looking at a way of digesting it, yeah? However, you'll probably find that when you wake up in the morning, you don't feel well rested enough, yeah? Because that information that you got yesterday is just too much on your system. And then once you do that for a whole week, by the end of the week, you're all bunged up in your mind. Yeah, you're constipated with too much information. Yeah, which is going to lead to
the state of the world at the moment.
Mental constipation. So, what's happening with meditation is a very effective way to process. You might say it's like a mental laxative or a digestive aid, where you can get the information and you can digest it much faster, and then let it go.
Is sound bathing a form of meditation?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Seems to work faster than anything I've been doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
It's very powerful at giving your mind a rest.
Yeah.
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 And if you looked at stress levels, when you're in high stress, you'd be doing a lot of thinking. So, overthinking things, yeah? And when you're overthinking things, your awareness becomes very small, because it's usually you have a cyclic thought around the same thing, and it builds and builds and builds and builds. So you might find that you have a circuit breaker built in where you're overthinking so much, and then you have a panic attack. Yeah? And then that's like a little circuit breaker. That's essentially, you're saying this is too much. But that's really not good for you. Yeah, you shouldn't ever be getting to that stage where you're having, like an actual physical attack, where you're having a breakdown, whether it's a migraine or, you're getting the shakes, or you can't be amongst people anymore. That's way too far. You're way too far. Then what some people do is they self-medicate at that stage. They might do that with alcohol. They might do it with street drugs. They might do it with going down to the chemist, and I never go to the chemist, so I don't know what people would take.
I think a lot of people just use their phones and they scroll.
Yes.
It is a way of dumbing down your mind for a little while, numbing it.
Yep. Yeah, looking at kitten photos, puppy photos.
Or not even, just
Yeah,
the scroll itself is it has a kind of drugging effect.
Yes, absolutely.
A numbing effect. So you don't need a pharmaceutical.
Yeah. And that could be true with work as well. Keeping busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Distracting yourself.
Yeah.
Other people do it with sport. There's other healthier ways to, you might say, defrag. You might go and play some sport, which is good. The only thing is that if you become overly competitive, you might find that you're really competitive at work, and then you go and play tennis with your mates, and then you may find yourself getting angry that you're losing the game of tennis. And at that stage, you'd probably be thinking, okay, if you're getting upset over a game, then could be worth your while to look at something more calming.
I'm definitely very calm.
And this is only number 2.
Only number 2. This is the part I'm really interested in, is the accumulative effect.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely feeling more centered than last time.
Yeah.
Probably grounded as well, but still very...
Yeah.
In the best possible way. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm lucid.
Yes.
Yeah,
you look lucid. You look bright.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't look sleepy.
Very tranquil on the inside. I don't know what's going on the outside. Yeah. So I can understand you perfectly. I can respond as well.
Yeah.
There's no loss of awareness and perception or motor skills in any way. Just a very deep sense of calm.
Yeah.
And reasonably centered as well. More centered than the last one.
Yeah.
Where it took a little while for me to get grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after 6 sessions, goodness.
Yeah.
Might turn into a yogi. Yeah. I'm joking. Yeah, I think I'm out of questions, Matt.
I'll quickly touch on that. After 6, what you might experience is that
I'll grow wings and fly away.
There's a possibility, but what I've experienced is that you go through these blissful states, right?
Even outside of the bath itself?
Yep.
So spontaneously. Yeah, wow.
So you can stay permanently blissful, which is wonderful. I think that's what most people want.
Wow.
And so the bliss, like anything, if you wake up in the morning and the sun is shining and you're feeling good, you'll walk out in the sun, you'll feel really good. Yeah? So, or, if it's a rainy day, you may actually look at the rain and really appreciate the patter of the rain on the roof. You may really enjoy the fresh smell of the rain. So things increase, your sense of enjoyment increases.
Your sense of enjoyment increases.
Yeah. Like things get brighter. Things look better. Things taste better.
They taste better.
They taste better. They smell better.
That makes it sound like that there would be a physiological impact.
Yes.
Not just a psychological impact.
Yeah, not just psychological. Everything gets better.
Everything gets better. Everything gets better. I'm holding you to that.
Yeah.
Make a report card.
Yeah. Coordination gets better.
True.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, coordination gets better. Yeah. Your ability to time things gets better.
Ability to time things.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So you might find yourself becoming more aware of time as a calculation and get better at knowing when a certain amount of time has passed. Because you're more present. You're not in your mind. You're more present to what's going on around you. And then your sense of judgment. Yeah. Because you're simply more in the present moment rather than being lost in imagination, like trying to predict what's coming down the line.
Right.
Yeah. Or being caught up in what happened yesterday and that you need justice for what happened and you're trying to figure out a scheme to get back at the person who supposedly slighted you. Yeah? Because when you're more present, what happened yesterday becomes incredibly uninteresting.
Uninteresting. There's that uninteresting again. Yeah.
And then the future also can equally become as uninteresting.
Really?
Yeah. And the present moment becomes exceedingly interesting.
It's like children, really, aren't they? I mean, they have no concept of the future other than, Santa going to bring me Christmas presents.
That's it.
They're, especially, you get kids who are like 1 to 2 and they see a butterfly for the first time and it's just magical.
Yeah.
Or we're really little babies and they see their hand for the first time. It's like,
yeah.
What is this?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it like that?
It's a bit like that, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so number 6, here we come.
Yeah. So you'll retain or you'll get back some of that sense of innocence that you may feel that you've lost. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah, it's still there.
Oh.
Yeah. Just need to tap into it. So the other thing that can come after these blissful states is an increased amount of energy.
Physical energy?
Yeah.
Really?
Because you're not spending your energy on things that don't exist.
Yeah, the mind does take a lot of energy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Just to think requires a lot of energy from the body. So if that's quietened, that's on low gear,
that's right.
There would be a lot more energy.
Yes.
For the body.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So think of it like...
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to enjoy life more.
Yeah.
I'm going to be more aware.
Yeah.
Everything will be more pleasurable, including food, and I'll have more energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see about this.
Yeah.
4 more to go.
Yeah, 4 more to go. Fantastic. All right. Well, I guess we could probably close it there, yeah?
Unless you have some questions for me, more questions for me.
Ooh.
Because this is an experiment for you too.
Yeah,
to take someone through this process all the way through. This is a different kind of scenario. It's not just a one-off sound bath.
That's right.
With one modality, whether it be gong or the tuning forks. This is every modality with a sequence.
Yeah.
With a continuum.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're taking me through a Venturi here.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone else who's done this in this way.
Yeah.
In such enhanced situation for sound bathing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. So what are you curious about with this process?
I guess I'm kind of a little bit curious about, do you notice a shift, and at what stage during the sound bath are you noticing a shift?
Can you tell me a bit more about what kind of shift you're talking about?
Well, when I meditate, I know when it's actually at the end of the meditation, because my spine will become a little bit straighter and my mind will become a little bit clearer. And it's almost like just at that point someone's flicked a switch and immediately I'm in deep sleep or deep meditative. But leading up to that point, it can almost be like I'm constantly fighting with my mind to quieten down. Like I'll get caught up on things. Like I'll think of something happened yesterday and I'll start going around in a little circle, and then I'll become aware of it, and then I'll go, come on, just sit up straight and keep breathing and go back to the mantra. And I'll be doing this over and over, and sometimes that will last almost the entire session, and then just right at the last moment there'll be that little switch, and I'll be in deep meditation. So I wonder if you have been experiencing that, or are you aware of that, or no, not at this moment?
Okay, so I can't say I've experienced what you're talking about, which is the mind just completely switching off and being aware of a moment of almost black and white difference.
Yeah.
But what I have noticed, particularly in this session, is that at certain points, I'll do that.
Yes.
You may have noticed me doing
it. I have noticed that, yes.
That all of a sudden, spontaneously, I'll be taking a really big breath.
Yes.
And then there's this shedding.
Yeah.
A letting go.
Got it. Yeah.
Because I'm concentrating or aware or just enjoying that experience, I'm not aware of exactly where you are in your sequence.
Yes.
I don't know which bowl's ringing at that particular time.
Yeah.
But I noticed that it probably was a good 15 minutes into the whole session before I took my first deep breath.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
From that point onwards, I think I took about 5 of those really deep breaths. So I'm wondering if those married up with your sequence changing that we talked about. Yeah?
Yes.
So you talked about that
Yeah.
patterning where you take me through a training
Yes.
and then change it slightly to take me into another training, which is that distraction that we were talking about, right?
Yep.
But it's a sound distraction.
Yep.
And then you're taking me into a different pattern with a different vibration. Well, I'm pretty sure I took about 5 big, deep breaths. I didn't perceive exactly when. I just knew that I did.
Yes.
And I knew that there was a shedding. I knew there was a letting go.
Yeah.
And there was a softening
Yeah.
and a deepening of my relaxation.
Yes.
I wasn't really thinking about whether my mind is chattering. That to me was irrelevant. I knew it was all going to be nonsense anyway.
Yeah.
I wasn't giving it much attention. I knew it would eventually give up
Yes.
and I'd kind of go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I was interested in what my body was doing, whether it was going into, if it was just giving up.
Yeah.
If it was giving up its tension. And with each of those breaths, it did.
Yep.
It did. It would be interesting to know if they connected with those deliberate sequence changes. Did you notice it, or we'll get into session 3 and have a look?
I reckon we'll get into session 3 and have a look. However, what I noticed from having taught a lot of people music over the years is that when they're starting to play a mistake.
Play a mistake.
Yeah. So they may have a line that they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
And then a little mistake will occur.
Yeah, it's very jarring. I do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost completely puts me off and I just want to okay, I cannot play this instrument anymore.
Yeah.
Giving up, never going to another lesson.
And so what happens is that behaviour then occurs again.
What behaviour?
Of making the same mistake.
Oh, because you're kind of entrenching the mistake.
Correct. And usually what happens is that people are only aware that they've made a mistake once they've made the mistake a couple of times.
Oh, no, I can hear it. When something's out of tune, I get that one straight away.
Yeah. So if you're not aware, and only after a little while that you become aware, I've been playing the wrong note, well, now you have a habit of playing that wrong note, and you now need to create a new habit.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way I liken it is that when you're creating habits, think of it like drawing a line in the sand, right? When you draw a line in the sand and you pass some water down the line, the water will cut the line deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what happens in the brain with synapses and habit forming, right?
Yes.
But how does this relate back to the deep breaths that I take at certain points?
Yeah. What I'm imagining is that maybe on the first sound bath, you found those release points
Uh-huh.
and you released.
Ah.
And this second one, you might be releasing at the same point.
We'd have to film it to know, really, wouldn't we?
Yeah, we'd have to document it.
We'd have to document it.
Yeah. But that's a possibility. You would actually find that from having watched a lot of movies that you would naturally know the sequence of a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So with the sequence that you use, that may or may not be marrying up with the letting go breath,
Yeah.
unless we film it and we find out.
Yeah.
I wonder what it is that's... Is it the vibration? Is it certain tones? If it's certain tones, are those certain tones universally appealing and therapeutic to people to get to that point that I got to where I'm letting go of the breath and deepening my relaxation? Or are those tones specific to me? Are they ones that I like? Ones that I, for whatever reason, have connected with safety, perhaps, that I can let go and relax now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's a rhetorical question. I don't know that there's any way to answer that.
Well, it'd be a little bit of both. If you would definitely see, like if you were trying to make a distinction between giving a dog a sound bath and a human a sound bath, you might find that maybe all humans have a similarity and maybe all dogs have a similarity. But then within, from human to human, there would be little slight differences. And from dog to dog, there'd be slight differences. But the difference between dog and human might be great because we're looking at a different species of animal. And maybe that might even be greater if you gave a fish a sound bath. Because maybe they're quite different to humans.
Well, they're always in a vibrational state because water is really receptive to sound waves, isn't it?
Yes,
Dolphins
absolutely.
and whales, they communicate through sound waves. So
correct.
It's not that much of a stretch for the fish.
No, that's right.
It's not not quite so absurd.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. So I think you would probably find that there would be some unique moments for you, but you might also find that, you might find that maybe all females have some similar moments because of their biology, and males may have similar moments because of their biology. And what I'm thinking is that because we're playing a sequence that's the bowls are near certain body parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving your head a rub, then we're giving your toes a rub, then we're giving your left side a rub, and then we're giving your right side a rub.
Yeah.
And so after a certain amount of rubbing, you'd probably go, okay, I can relax. But you might find that, depending on your habits, that maybe your left side, you're holding a little bit more tense, depending on maybe an injury you had or a moment you had, in the past. And so you might be finding that you're protecting your left side more than your right side.
Yeah. Can you pick that up with the bowls? Is there a feedback? Is there feedback through the bowls to that kind of thing? I know.
Yeah, there is.
Going back to the tuning forks before we started this sequence.
Yeah.
With the tuning forks, you were able to pick up some old hurt. I can't remember if it was physical or psychological, but it was an old hurt that had somehow got into the, I don't know what this is, this aura, vibration, whatever it is.
Yep.
And it could be picked up through the forks. And freaky thing was you were accurate.
Yeah.
It was something very specific to, like, actually it was generalised in terms of how you expressed it.
Yeah.
But you picked up the age it happened, which was 28.
Yeah.
Or around about that time. I thought, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
How freaky that the forks could pick up a vibration from something that's from a particular age. So I'm wondering, when you do that bowls sequence, if, let's say I had an injury, my left elbow, that if, let's say, I'm holding on to that and not letting go of that, can you feel that as a feedback? As feedback through the bowls? Because I watched you at one point. I just thought, oh, I'm not going to sleep through this. I want to see what's going on. So I opened my eyes a few times to have a look at what you were doing. And I remember at one point you were over at the right hand bowl.
Yes.
Doing this.
Yeah, making it sing.
Making it sing, It's a very deliberate movement.
Yes.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
It was not random.
Yeah.
And for some reason it just made me think of cooking. You can really throw things in together and just throw the wooden spoon in and give it a bit of a stir and walk away and let it bubble.
Yeah.
But when you really want something to cook a certain way, you watch it.
Yep.
And you keep stirring and you keep adding just enough to to spice it up the right way. And I could see you with that same precision.
Yep.
Bringing the bowl up to a certain temperature, vibration. Very, very deliberate way of tuning up that bowl.
Yep.
But can you feel back in the bowl something coming off me?
Yeah.
And be kind. I don't need everybody to know my inner secrets. Might be something for offline.
The only thing that I could probably tell you that would probably make a bit of sense is the bowls are always the same bowls that I'm using. The bowls are not changing, except maybe very, 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 very slightly over a long period of time decaying, as we all do, right? But most of the time the bowls are always the same. And I'm not hitting them hard, so they're not getting dented or anything like that. It's very gentle playing the bowls. But occasionally when you listen to the bowls, depending on who you're working with, the sound of the bowl changes, and sometimes they don't sing very well.
Can you perceive why that is?
And
can you change? You know how I asked about changing your thoughts can change your energy or your vibration in your life, and I've asked, well, I'm experimenting with this, can it work conversely? If you change the vibration through the singing bowls, through the sound bathing, can it also change your thoughts? So you don't have to work so damn hard to change your thoughts. You've got this mechanical process that can assist you to make that breakthrough. So in that same vein, if you perceive that one of the bowls is giving you feedback about something that's out of tune, can you bring that part of that person, I'm going back to the left elbow, back into tune.
Yeah.
You can?
Yes. Yeah.
How? How do you do that?
Well, think of it like training a puppy. Yeah. So if you want a puppy to not poo and wee on your bed, then you just simply need to train it that you go to the bathroom in a designated space, right? It doesn't mean that you hit the puppy every time it does something on your bed. You'll simply lovingly pick the puppy up, take it to the place where you want it to do its business. Yeah. And then when you find it doing its business in that spot, you reward it. Yeah. If you scold...
You can do this with a singing bowl? Like,
no, you can
how
do
does
it.
that work?
You can do it with your mind. Yeah. And the singing bowl. So you might find that when you've got a sore area on your body, yeah, if you rub it, depending on how you rub it and with how much force, it will either soothe it or agitate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the bowls are all about soothing the area.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
you're trying to get the muscles to let go as you would in a massage.
Yeah.
Okay, I found a knot. We're trying to let that part of your body relax.
Yeah. Okay, got it. That makes
So-
sense to me.
Yeah.
All right.
So you can pick up on certain parts of the body that seem tense, and you could maybe think of it a little bit like, if you wanted to, and I don't know how scientifically correct this is, but as a dolphin would use sonar to detect land, you would use the bowl in a similar way to detect where there is something that seems a little bit unbalanced.
And you can hear this.
And you can hear it.
You
Yeah.
can hear something being out of tune.
Yeah, when things are really wrong, the bowls sound quite ugly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and I know it seems pretty weird, but dolphins use sonar to avoid, well, I guess rocks and whatnot. And I haven't really thought about it. Maybe the bowl is detecting some muscle tension.
I don't even think about it as detecting. It's giving a voice to something that's imperceivable and doesn't have a voice of its own.
Maybe.
And it's maybe just, it's found, let's say, elbow. It's found a way of actually expressing, hey, I'm not feeling okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a bad sound through this bowl.
Mm.
Could it be something like that?
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
My expertise with this is not in the physical science.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm more of a experience. My knowledge comes more from experience. So if I see something working, I will keep doing it to see if it continues to work.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't work, then I'll go in another direction. And
Very sensible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why go where it's not working?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, experiential results.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you have a very calm client here. Yeah.
Oh, it's good.
It's working.
Looks like we're heading in the right
We're
direction.
going in the right direction. Just keep going in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it'd be very interesting, I think, to measure things. Because, I do that. I do measure things, But it is interesting to measure certain frequencies and things like that.
Can we do that?
We probably can. I think I'd need to put a bit of thought into how we would do that.
We certainly have a lot of equipment in this room that surely some of it's useful for that. It's going to be something.
Yeah. And then the other thing we would probably have to think about is how could that information be used usefully?
Yeah, how can it be helpful?
Yeah, rather than just
Curiosity.
or more information that doesn't maybe serve a purpose other than to say, oh yes, we we have some fancy numbers and we can we can throw them around like we know something that other people don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah. Looking forward to chai. Do I get chai today?
Yeah, we will go and have a chai now.
Hey, future clients, you get chai as well. You get chai. It's really good.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah.
my pleasure. Yeah, still in Blissland.
Yeah, that's good. Thank
you. Thank you.
And look forward to seeing you again next week for
Number 3.
3. Excellent. Thanks, Shell. Join us again next week as Shell continues her journey with her third of 6 consecutive sound baths. Thanks for watching today. This has been a fascinating exploration of sound baths. If you've enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. Until next time, stay well and keep exploring new experiences.